fast things set up too. Ooh, watch it. There we go. All right. What's happening, everyone? Welcome in to the show. We still have to get another live stream going here. We're late on TikTok. Let's see. Because I can never just be on time, so that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to go over here. And yeah, we're all set. Okay, so welcome in, everybody. This is the Paint with Josh show. We have a special guest in the audience with us this evening. Let's go live over here. Make sure everything's fired up and running good. Perfect. Perfect. Kill that fan. There we go. All right. So, welcome, guys. Welcome. As you can see, we have a 24 by 24 inch canvas. I am already exhausted. I was up until 3:30 a.m. last night, breaking down the entire studio, putting everything downstairs in the car. Finally got loaded at 3:30, went upstairs, went to bed, woke up at 6:30 in the morning, only 3 hours later, went and got myself on TV in the local news. So if you're ever, if you're in the Las Vegas area, or if you're a follower of mine, I'm going to be downloading it and uploading the video of my news segment. It's going to be really cool. Talked about the City of the World Art Gallery down there and how we're teaching classes, and it's going to be fantastic. So, in any case, I probably can't even think straight enough to do a painting, but we've got Friday Night Freestyle for you, so we're here. What's the name of your band, Eric?
Unidentified Person.
Unidentified Persons. Do you guys do like live gigs around town or what?
Well, we're still trying to get there.
Still trying to get to the live gig stage, so you're just in the auditioning, well, the practicing stage right now?
Pretty much.
Getting good. How many people are in your band?
Total of 5.
5 players. And what instrument do you play?
Rhythm guitar and backing vocals.
Excellent. He's a singer, girls. He's a singer. He's also dating my sister, so back off. Back off. So, I figured Eric is going to come up here and play a little bit. He brought his guitar, and while I'm painting and in the midst of maybe cleaning brushes when we have that downtime on the show, maybe he'd play a little bit of something here and there. So, if that's what you hear, that's what it is. Now, we've taken our filbert brush, got into our white paint, put our little moon out there, right? Now, let me tell you, as I was going over Eric's band, what is it again?
Unidentified Persons.
I was going to say unforgotten persons. Unidentified persons. We forgot to tell you what we did. So we took our 24 by 24 inch black canvas, and then we covered it in Liquitex black gesso. It's an acrylic black gesso. It dries in 5-10 minutes. Then, once it's all dry and you come up to do your painting, you're going to want to cover it in Bob Ross liquid clear or linseed oil or some sort of thing in order to make it all wet. Once it's all wet and slick and dry, wet and slick, you take your paper towel and you go from one side across, wiping off any excess, and then what we did was put our phthalo blue and our Prussian blue with our crimson of the Bob Ross colors, and we pulled out the crimson from the Meaden set as well, and used a fair amount of that crimson on this. So I find that the mixture of both the Meaden set and the Bob Ross set make a gorgeous little color, and it really turns out fantastic. So if you're wondering what the Meaden set is, this is about the one thing I didn't do earlier. Haha! Now, some of you guys over on TikTok will see it. The people that watching over on Facebook and YouTube probably won't see the kit. But if you're watching over on TikTok and you want to get these paints, go over to the link in my bio, and you'll be able to find those paints. Now, we've got our crimson and our blue and our other crimson from Meaden all mixed in across the canvas in different areas. So even though it looks very dark up here, it's covered in blue, right? Everywhere across the canvas is covered. And that way when we come in with our gorgeous little bit of white on the canvas, or on our brush here, it's going to interact with all those different colors and change as we go. It's going to be really cool. Really neat. So we just need a little bit of white. I need to start my clock so I know when we need to stop. Whoop, I keep hitting the wrong button. Sorry guys. There we go. Hit the button. Okay. Just like that. We're going to take the white on the brush over here. We're just going to make a giant mess. Now you know we have blue up here. We have the crimson over here because you can see the differences, right? So what if we came across that entire thing and just made this giant old mess? Look at how it went from blue to purple. Maybe we come down in here. Who knows? You want to go up? You go up. Ooh, that got very close to the moon. We're going to have to be careful not to touch the moon now, guys. And all we're doing is making a ginormous mess. I literally did this with, I am Jessica Rosado over on Instagram. So if you go follow at I am Jessica Rosado, She's the host of the Las Vegas Morning Blend show that we were on earlier today. And it's going to be airing on Monday, the 21st. So, on Monday the 21st, I'm off of work on Mondays anyway. I'm going to be glued to the TV and watching it. And then as soon as it's done and the link becomes available, I will download the link and post it out to all of my fans. It's going to be fantastic. So, hope you guys are as excited to see it as I am, because I was so like jittery and just strung out. Like I'm so tired that morning, this morning, that I honestly don't even remember what I said on camera. I do not remember what I said. All I'm telling you guys though is don't touch the moon as we come up here, right? You don't want to do that. And so I'm recreating one of my paintings that we just did a couple weeks ago, our little purple crashing seascape with the two UFOs, and I'm recreating it because Jessica was telling me how, what her favorite colors were and how her favorite color was purple. And I was like, ooh, I had brought the purple seascape to display as behind us as we're talking about my art and about the classes and all that stuff. And so I'm displaying the piece. I can tell she's looking at it. And so before I left, I was like, hey, I want to give this to Jessica. So she was like on screen reading something, and I'm like waving at her. I'm like, this is for you. And she's like, oh my God, it's that and the other. So she already took it home, got it all hung up, and it's going to be awesome. So with the painting that we did there too, the reason why I bring it up is because Jessica and I painted together. Is one of the questions she was asking me is, do you think anybody can paint? And I was like, so much so, I can teach anybody to paint, so much so that we're gonna paint some clouds right now. So I was looking at her and the canvas is over here, just like I'm looking at you guys. And so I went like this with my brush. I was like, we're just gonna make a mess like we always do. Made this giant crazy mess, and then I had her blend it out with the little circles, and it turned out fantastic. And so after my segment was over, we just had this sky full of clouds and nothing left. And I was like, hey, do you guys want me to knock out, oh dude, you want me to knock out a little seascape real quick just to hang up in the office or whatever? Got my YouTubes down. Here we go. Sorry guys over on YouTube. Eric didn't tell me that the battery was dying on you. It's all Eric's fault. Thank you very much.
I'll take the blame. I'm sorry.
Yep. It is your fault, Eric. You're here. You're the one behind the cameras.
It's true.
So what was I saying now? Eric? You weren't paying attention?
About the whole, you can teach anyone to paint?
Oh, yeah. So I was like, we can teach anybody how to paint, so much so that I'm going to show you. And we messed the canvas, and then she came and did the clouds. And so then I was like, all right, we got this empty canvas, and she went off to go do another segment and go read, other lines and stuff. And so I'm in the back quietly picking up all the stuff and cleaning up our area. And I was like, hey, I might as well knock out like a quick little seascape. So literally in under 5 minutes, I'm serious. We blasted out this thing. I'll post a picture of it on Facebook after the show. And for anybody who's wondering what it looks like, or maybe, I don't know, we'll have to see it maybe later on. I'll do a little teaser, right? Speaking of teasers, by the way, as we come in, we're going to get one more little bit of white onto our brush. Speaking of teasers, as you can see, we have brand new merch. And if you've been watching last week or over the last couple days, maybe on Monday you caught the show, or last night over on TikTok, we announced that we're doing a giveaway. We're doing a hat giveaway, right? So it doesn't have to be yellow. You can choose between the black and purple, black and red, black on black, all white, all red, all green, whatever color that they offer that you want, you can choose. And there's only one little thing you've got to do, right? No purchase necessary. Don't have to buy anything. You got to do one little thing. And all that is share the post, right? Go over to my Facebook page, and the very first post pinned to the top of the page is the merchandise post, the giveaway post, right? And so all you're going to do is you're going to go over there. You're literally going to click share. You're going to share it to your feed, and then you're going to screenshot that you've shared it, right? As proof. You screenshot it. You go back to my post over there, right at the top of my page, so it's super easy to find. And then you post your screenshot in the comments. That gets you entered to win a free hat. No purchase necessary. So take your butts over to my Facebook page. Get over there if you want to get entered to win. The post is right there. Share the post, screenshot it as proof that you shared it to your page or some art group or wherever you shared it. I don't care. Share it, somebody. All right? Just put it out there somewhere. Take a picture, drop it in the comments of my post with all my merchandise, and you'll be entered. You'll see tons of other people have done it already. So we're going to have lots of names in the hat for this one, guys. Lots of names in the hat. Now, just like that. I told you, we've taken our little bit of our brush. We got it a little bit dirty with our white paint and sort of accentuated a bit of brightness right out there in the clouds, right? Again, I always forget. I try to teach you guys and tell you about my life all at the same time. So Let's come back in. Let's get a little bit more white. I'm talking a little bit. Don't need a whole lot because you can always go back and add more. You can never what once it's up there. Fill in the blank. You can never what. Let's paint a little UFO-shaped cloud back here. What do you think? What do you think, Eric?
Looking good.
Eric of, with the name of the band. One more time with the name of the band. Unidentified Persons. I knew it before you even said it, right? All right. Eric of Unidentified Persons. This is how you paint just a little, soft little UFO-shaped cloud out there, right? And you don't tell anybody it's a UFO. You just have it out there nice and flat, and you start to mix it, and you get that little arc. See, it's got that little arc to it? Not crazy arc, right? But it's got a small little arc to it. Eric's not even paying attention. I literally look back, he's looking at my sister. What are you doing, Eric? I'm gonna talk. So I'm gonna be cleaning my brushes here soon, and Eric's going to serenade us, so he better get ready with some tunes, right? What are you gonna play for us on the for your first intro bit? Right? You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to be crazy, right? If it's, you know, they say if it's too old, you're too loud. Sometimes it gets too loud, so I might be getting too old. What do you feel like playing? Let's bring our other one over here. Oh, so you're not even prepared. Just like that. Way out there. A little bit of like an arc to it, right? You get that little... And then you go back and you shape it out. Straighten it out. Pull on it. Give it a little softness. Right? You can literally work this guy. I hear tunage. I hear some playing back there. It makes me want to get my guitar out and just totally ruin whatever you're about to do with my guitaring skills. Because they're not very good. I mean, I've had a guitar for 20-something, almost 30 years. But I can play a couple chords, and that's about it, you know what I mean? I don't know. I've never been able to, like, get the strings right on my fingers. I've always had too fat of fingers in order to get it to work, and that's at least what I tell myself anyway. There we go. A couple little soft little bits of cloud out there. Are they clouds? Are they UFOs? What are they, Eric?
Look like clouds.
They look like clouds. They do. They sure do. Now we're going to come in and hide those guys just a touch. Right? Remember, our ocean starts right about at the bottom of these guys. So what if we put our... He's just coming in right over the water. Just coming in up close. Right? Come back here. Little bit thicker on that side. Little bit of water back there. And then you have that what? What's that? You remember from last week when you guys were here, Eric? Right? I normally ask the fans what that little... that piece in between our two bits of color, what that little line is called, right? We've already done a few of them out here. So, dark separate, what?
Dark separation?
Separator. A dark separator, right? So that dark separator basically splits up all the colors that we're using, right? We have blue and crimson and this and that, and it's all going to mix together and make a purple eventually, right? The more we go over it. So if the colors are very much the same, you have to have that bit of darkness in between them in order to get them to stay separate. That's why we call it a dark separator. Thank you, Eric, for paying attention from last time.
You're welcome. I'm like ass.
That's funny. All right, let's go one little bit, and then we'll let Eric play. We'll let Eric play a little. So get your tunings ready. Everybody get your earplugs in. No, I'm just messing around. I've never heard him play before, so I hear he's good. If you're in a band, I mean, you got to be better than me. At least that's my thought.
I feel like it's up to debate.
That's up for debate.
We'll let the fans decide.
Let the fans decide. All right, let me do one little piece of our wave action here, and then I'm going to clean some brushes off, straighten my stuff up, and you guys are going to listen to Eric for just a second. And remember, go over to Facebook, find the merchandise post, share it, screenshot it as proof, go back over to my Facebook post where you saw that merchandise thing, and then drop your shared picture, or your screenshotted picture in the comments. And that way you'll be entered to win. Let's come up here to a little mustache. Just like that. That little bit, how it's round, get your little point. Go off nice and flat, keeping little differences, right? See that little change from the very light gray color to those two little bits of dark color back in there? Just adds depth and distance and waves as we're going, right? So we're gonna come over here very lightly, just a couple little flicks, nothing too crazy. Don't have to get nuts. You don't wanna see every single bit. And the more you go backwards, the more paint that you're gonna drop in there. Now watch, we're gonna add a little bit of brightness, but also keeping two little different pieces of dark in there. They don't all have to connect. They don't all have to be the same. They don't have to be the same size, but we're keeping little areas of darkness in there, little areas of light. And when I'm talking about dark and light, right, we're talking about this amount of light versus that amount of light, not dark and bright, but even within our bright color, there are differences in that color, right? Now, let's come over here. We'll do one more little wave, and then we're going to go let Eric play, I swear. Swearsies, right? When we come back over here, and we need to go underneath and then go up, right? So we'll come down, and we go up like that. And get those very close together, right? And if you don't like that, watch this. We'll go down here like this, changing the whole thing up, pulling our brush off, just adding a little bit of our color, sweeping it back to the last little bit of color, but leaving a what? Eric already told you. So you guys have to comment what it is. What do we call this little line? If we went off down that way too. See those little bits? You got your peak that comes up in front of your dark separator. Shoot, I just told you what it was. Eric, I just gave away the answer. Somebody knows already. B knows. We had lots of people, but B is the first person I saw when I came around the side of the screen. Just like that though, guys, right? So we have our little, got your first little mustache, and I call it a mustache. I don't know why I call it a mustache. Really don't. It just reminds me of like a little mustache shape. And what it is you got your mustache back here, right? Then we got our next one right here, right? And then our big one's gonna be our next one that's gonna be crashing over. And in between each one of those, you got a little separation of dark. You have to have the dark separator. Now, in between each of these as well, you're gonna go back and soften it with your little 1-inch brush, just the corner of the brush. Like every little flick, it wants to grow a bit further and a bit further and a bit further. And so what you do is you touch it less and less and less and less and less, right? And that way it doesn't grow so far. There we go. This part, we need to remain dark anyway. So just like that, that's the only part that we're gonna focus on besides the crashing wave that's happening over here. So, Eric, hit us with some tunes, bro. What are you gonna play? While I go wash these brushes, then we'll be back.
Probably some Sandra.
Ooh, I like it. Are you making the guitar face? You gotta make the face. This dude's good, you guys. It's pretty good. I like it. Makes me want to sing almost, kind of makes me want to sing a little bit. I like it, dude. Your BF's got talent, Ash. It's got talent, man. Alright, let's see. I like it. What do you guys think? Let's see, beautiful Kentucky we got watching back from here. Sasha, we got Airy Fairy Faye, we got Adam, got everybody watching today. Wicked, wicked, wicked. So, I like it, Eric. I like it. Oh, he's so arrogant. He's like, thank you, and just continues to play along. Even got Bailey to come out of her room and see what's going on in the old studio. Hey, there's little Bailey back there. There's little Bailey. All right, I'm ready to go. Eric, you did a fantastic job. I really like that. I might have to record you doing that and then play it in between. I have a little, like a little tape deck over here. So, what do you guys think of Eric's tunes? They'd be like, Josh, just shut up and let Eric play. We don't even want to hear you. That's fine. That's totally fine. Gives me a chance to catch my breath, take a drink, right? So, we're going to come back with our white paint and our little fan brush. Going to load it up, just like that. When I say little fan brush, I mean each company makes a different size. They number them differently. Like this is a size, I don't know, like a size 6 in Bob Ross set, but it's a size 10 in the GAC Doctor set. So you never know what it's going to be. So just get about a medium size, maybe about an inch. Nothing too big, too crazy. Now we're going to decide. We're going to come in here. We're going to start to go up just about almost to our peak of our horizon back there, right? Just like that. Right, now we're going to take this. We're going to slide him back down. He's going to eventually, we could turn that whole thing, but maybe he comes up like that. It goes down like that. All these little differences in our water, right? We can do anything we want to do. Take our little bit of white on the brush, starts flicking him back, sliding it back, slide, 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 slide. So I was saying I gave this painting to Jessica over at the Morning Blend as a little surprise. I was like, here you go, you can have this one. Bam, 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 bam. See that? See what I'm doing? Fantastic, you guys. So I figured, since I gave her the painting today, that I needed to come and redo another one. Now we're gonna come over here, we're gonna touch underneath, we're gonna slide it down. And this is where you can start to have fun with these different angles of our waves. And every which way you go off the other way, you gotta go off with your little mustache going around the other way. Don't make them too big. Sometimes it starts looking really neat and then we make them too big and then it gets all kind of crazy. So, wipe our brush off, go back to our white, just in here like this. Come into the light color of where our eye would be, the transparency of the wave, right? And all that is where the water starts to get very thin as it rolls over. You can see all the light through there. So we're gonna very lightly start making little circles with our brush, and we're gonna start to push it up there towards that next bit of color, but you don't want it to touch, right? Once you touch up there, you've lost all the depth in our wave because you don't have that little shadow that it's casting. Each little wave is casting its own little shadow as it's coming up and rolling over, right? Now we're gonna get this guy to grow a little bit more, push on him a little harder, make this one a little bit wider, right? So you got a little tail, a little bit wider, and then you can always go back and brighten up. You want it to be a little brighter, add a bit more white to it. Right, come in there. Depends on what you want to see with yours and about our pressure. How hard are we pushing on it, right? Start to take this guy, you can even start to roll him down just a little bit. Like how far does your wave come down? Totally up to you. Totally up to you guys. But we don't want to have it stretched too far. All right, now let's come have some fun over here. Take the big bit of white onto our brush, touching right at the top, not back here, right up at the top. We're just gonna flick over like that. All you gotta do is rotate your brush like that. Just let it, like a metronome, right? You use those in music, don't you?
Yes, sir.
A little metronome. So that's all we gotta do is let it flick and roll over to the side, right? And as we're coming down like that, all we need to get it is in front of its last little section of brightness back there. And then you turn the brush and you rotate, right? We were over here. We're doing this, making little circles almost, but only touching the canvas on the top part of the circle. Now we're gonna rotate the handle back behind our hand so it changes the angle. We're gonna touch over here and do the same thing. Same little flick, but as long as we keep that little dark separator right there, that little triangle is gonna sell your painting. The darker your little triangle is, the more likely it's gonna sell, trust me. Now, coming back to this point, which we skipped over here. Normally during my seascapes, I'll tell you guys about this little spot over here that everything, it's almost like the center of a clock, right? Everything rotates around. What's that rotate? What's another word for rotating, I guess, and then coming back to that same spot? All right, does anybody know what we're talking about? Because the two people in the studio, they look like they have no clue. Comedian, there we go, right there. Pivot point, pin that comment. That is what we're talking about, right? Over here, talk about a pivot point because you got to come back to the same little point each time with each thing as you go longer and longer and longer. So let's do that over here, right? So we'll take the same brush, didn't add any new color, touching, rolling, right? Touch, roll, same little spot. But now we're going in little different angles and it starts to end up looking like a heart, right? So we'll take this and we'll fill in those little dark areas right there. But again, pulling from the same little pivot point. You don't come over here, or start to pull it and change and do this. Gotta keep that same little spot right back there. And if it starts to get too dark, go back and get a little bit of white. Right, take this guy right in front of the other one. And now it looks like all of our wave. This side's already crashed. It's rolling over. This side's rolling, and as we speak, rolling further and further. Now remember, guys, I don't think we've said it once during this whole stream. You can buy this painting if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. You can get this one before anyone else even has a chance at it, right? Head over there, grab this painting right now. It's number 905, which is an incredible amount. Have you played 905 songs, Eric?
That is a no.
No? It's a lot. It's a big number,
It's a big
right?
number, yeah.
It's a big number. Like even playing one song 905 times, it's a lot. It's a lot of things. And it's over 4 years we've been painting. So, just like that, wash our brush off every so often. If you want to come back in, get a little touch of our white paint right on the top where the moon might have kissed it, right? And then we're just not going to touch it so many times. Be very light with it so it stays very bright up there. And then it starts to get darker and darker and darker. The more you touch it, the more it's going to mix in with that paint that's underneath. Right? We added our purple and our crimson and blue to make purple. Added all that in there, and now the more that we're touching it, the more it wants to go purple and mix. So, very light little things, all about the 3 P's of Paint with Josh. Now, Eric, do you remember the 3 P's of Paint with Josh from the last time you were here? I'll be so surprised if you remember the 3 P's.
Practice.
That's one. That's one, but it's not. I mean, it's 3. It's number 3. It's not the first one. So you got pressure. You said pressure. So you're going in reverse. Okay, so you said practice, pressure. What's the first P of Paint with Josh then? Yes, he said paint. I didn't even have to give him the clue. He said paint. I was late with the clue. So paint, pressure, and practice, right? No matter what you're painting, whether it's a wave or a mountain or a cloud or a moon or a face or a dog or an alien portrait, whatever it is, all depends on the amount of paint that we have on our brush, the amount of pressure that we push on the canvas to slide that paint around, and practice, of course. All right, because, I mean, if this is your first seascape and you knock it out better than my seascape, I want to come learn from you. Sign me up for a class, because if you're awesome right off the bat, come sign me up. You got to have practice for most people, right? Put a little line right down there. It came down and smashed upon the earth. And we're going to come in here, very light pressure so we don't drop too much paint, and we're going to just start going backwards. Little straight lines about the same distance. And we get further and further and further on this little diagonal, downward facing line, until eventually those little lines are going to line up with these little lines, right? And the more paint we add, the brighter it's going to get. So be careful. And turn your little thing, have it go, maybe it goes off that way. Who knows? We can do whatever we want to do. That's the best part about it. It's all up to Eric. What do we do? Huh? What was that? Huh? What? So, all up to us, guys. Now that we have all that white off of the brush, and it's mainly turned into blue, there's still some light color in there, and I'll show you. As we come in here, look at that. Just with having just the darker blue color, and it's dragging up into there. Leaving these little things, and the further out that you go, the longer they get, right? These little darker sections, which is why we don't do them first, because we need the dark paint on the brush after it's mixed in with all of these other bits, right? Then you can come back in, then it won't remain as bright in here, and then it'll look like a shadow, right? Just like that. Very cool. Don't even have to connect. They really don't. And our angles are most important, right? You have to pretend like there's a little golf ball or something back in there that you can't touch. It's got to stay very, very, very dark. And like I said, the darker that you keep your dark areas, right? So let's say your dark separator. They're really dark and really crisp dark separators, right? Dark tunnel back in here. Darkness in the clouds, dark along the edges, dark in the sand. The darkness is what sells the painting. I'm telling you. You ever heard of devil's in the details? Well, my saying is the detail's in the darkness, right? Because without the dark, you can't show any light details. If you have all light on top of all light with no separation in between, it just looks like one big splotch of color, right? There's nothing you can do. Gotta have those dark separators in there. Now, let's come back. We'll get the same brush. We'll come back with a bit of white. And just because, let's add a bit of crimson, our little Bob Ross crimson, to the paint on the brush, just like that. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna stay, you remember the amount, the distance, Eric, that we're supposed to stay underneath? I don't know if I said it during the stream when you guys were here that one time.
I want to say you did, but I'm batting 1,000 today.
Batting 1,000, let's guess. You wanna guess? How much does it look like?
About like an inch.
Close, about a 1/4 inch. You try anyway. Try to stay about a 1/4 inch, because every time we touch it with our brush, it has the potential to move closer and closer and closer. And you can start at an inch and then work its way up, right? Now, here's where we like to ask questions, give shout outs, pin people's comments, and do all that stuff. So, if you're watching on any platform, make sure you start typing in the answers to my questions. Now, when we're dealing with our sand, we can't obviously leave the sand looking like this. It looks terrible, right? So, do we need to, I'm going to tell you what we need to do. We need to pull it down, and we need to slide it back and forth. Now, here's the question. Do we use a very little amount of pressure, or do we use a lot of pressure? You guys tell me in the comments right now. Little pressure, lot of pressure. Little, lot. Type those 2 words. Little or lot. Which team are you on? You on team little? You on team lot? What team are you on, Ash?
A lot.
Team lot. What about you, Eric?
Lot.
Lot. So we got Erica says little over here. Campbell says lot. Randy says lots. Chelsifer says a lot. Wanda G says a lot. We got Justin Nauman says soft always. Justin might be learning something right here in this little demonstration. We got lots of people saying a lot. Cass says a little. JP says a lot. Lily says none. You want no pressure. You just want to leave it just like that. Right? So, I'm going to show you guys both ways since we have a lot of people saying both ways. Here's a very little amount of pressure. And then I'm going to do the same amount of little pressure as we go side to side, right? So, that's the same thing. Now, would you guys leave your sand looking just like that? No judgment or any, just yes or no question, yes or no answers. Would you leave the sand looking like this and just walk away and be like, yep, that's it, we're ready to go? So Hope says no, Sasha Star says nope, Kylie says no, Shane says no, Love You says nah, Hope says no, Roblox says no, Midnight, they say nope, I love cats very much so says nope. That's a long screen name. Right, so if everyone's saying no, they wouldn't leave the sand looking like that and move on to the next step, then let's try it the opposite of soft or little pressure, and let's do a lot of pressure. All right, so we'll go a lot of pressure, and we'll pull it all the way down. Look at how far my brush wants to bend. Spread that whole thing. Boom, 90-degree angle that sucker. Bam, 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 right? Now, I know what you're thinking. I already know. I can read your minds. That doesn't look like sand either, right? I wouldn't leave my sand looking like that, right? What does that look like, guys? If we were to flip the canvas upside down and this was up here on top, what would it look like? Does anybody have a guess? Anybody? Let's see. Roblox says why? I mean, you could leave it like that. It's totally up to you guys, right? But yeah, there we go, right there. What's M-Vic? M-Vic says it looks like Aurora or Northern Lights. Lit Jim, Alexandria says Northern Lights. Larry says Aurora, right? It's exactly right. And you could leave it like this if you wanted to. Totally up to you what you do with your painting, but I'm not going to leave it like this. I told you we had to pull it down and we had to swipe it side to side. Now, here comes your next question. Do we swipe it towards the wave first or away from the wave first? We have to do both. So, is it towards and away, or is it away and then towards? You guys tell me just by answering one of those, right? Towards the wave, away from the wave. Which one are we doing first? Towards or away? The only two words that you got to write down. Towards or away. All right, Brittany says away. Soraya says away. Janice says away. Erica Hayes says towards. Kylie says away. Roblox says towards over here. Jessie Lynn says towards the wave first. Jessie Lynn, you watch more of my videos than most people. Girl, you should know the answer to this. Jelly says away. Bill Sniffy says towards. Frankie Tats says away. Mona says towards. Man, everybody over on Facebook, it's like you guys are brand new followers over there and you don't even know because you guys are saying towards. And just think about it, right? If we've been trying to save our dark separators in between the clouds and this, in between that and that, in between this and that, and that and this, and that and this, and that and this, and this and that, and that and this, and everywhere, right? Why would we want to take our paint and push it towards something that's going to eventually meet, you know, like as soon as we push it in there, it's going to line up and touch, it's going to get rid of the dark separator completely, and these two colors will be the same thing, right? If we were to push towards first. That's not what you want to do. You want to pull it away first, then we're going to push it towards, right? Doing our yoga over here, away first, and then towards. I don't know how to do yoga, I'm just guessing. So, I'm going to take the same brush with a lot of pressure. We're going to pull it away from the wave. Right, retaining our little dark line in there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be dark. Right, again down here, taking all of our vertical swipes and turning them into what, Eric? What's the opposite of vertical swipes?
Horizontal.
Horizontal swipes. Exactly. Right, now we've swiped away from our wave, and we've got our dark separator that looks very big. I mean, geez, it's like almost 1.5 inches over here. Right? A little sloppy looking. So this is why we have to swipe it back towards the wave. We're going to take the same brush. We're going to start from the edge, because you can always go back and fill the paint in from the side. So start from the edge, start to pull it in. Right? You start to show that you can drag that paint, and just like a little sequin pillow, you can start to push it up underneath. And you can start getting it very, 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 very small, right? Very small, depending on what you want your wave to look like. And you come up underneath over there, and all of a sudden our wave looks like it's just sat up like 1 inch, and it's got all that water rolling over itself back and forth, nice and smooth across the sand, right? Because it's got that dark separator in there. Now without our dark separator, the purple and the blue blend together, everything looks weird, and there's no lift, there's no depth, there's no anything. So you gotta keep the darkness. Don't lose it. The detail lies within the dark. the dark side of the Force. I like that, man. All right, now we're just gonna take this little guy, all right, because you don't want to go too far. I was painting one the other night, and I brought the wave down way too far. It was like we'd started up here. I was off in my spacing. I don't know what was wrong. Maybe we were too elevated. I don't know what was happening, but we're gonna take this guy and just extend him a little bit. So from here, we're gonna pull over to the side like he's, right? But then we're gonna start to change, using it as a pivot point, right? And each one start to come down. Maybe it comes down a little bit further. Start to go back over here, and it starts to rotate again. Each line is a little bit different of an angle, right? So this guy's going over here. That guy's going down there. This guy was kind of a downward swipe and then up. This one's same thing. We're starting a downward, like a little happy face, a little smiley face, right? And then what do? Off the backside, we go the other direction. Not trying to make it as bright as we can make it all the way down to the end. You don't have to do that, right? Just like so. That's gonna be cool. Then we can drag this as far as we want, right? We're connecting to it, pushing past our dark separator and out onto the sand. And now it can become as light as it wants, as thin as it wants, all the way out here. Right? Very cool. What do you guys think? Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna come back in, make it a little bit brighter. Just a touch, like we got a bit of our moonlight coming down. Right? Start to extend it. Little bits though, because you don't have to, you can always add more paint. You can never take it away once it's out there. You can always make it grow a little bit further, do a little bit different thing. Now here, watch this. You have to take this guy and pull him off to the side. See how we pulled against the grain of it? And then again, coming down. There's two different little angles in there. It's not all the same thing, even from the same spot. Never all the same bit. Take this guy, slide him back out towards our dark separator as far as you want, up to you. Remember, you can get this painting if you go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com. You can purchase it right now before anyone else can even get to it. You can get it before we even get finished. It's in the store waiting to hang on your wall. So go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, and then once you're over there, search for number 905 or type in the word TikTok or whatever, and it'll bring up the only painting in the store that doesn't have a finished photo, right? Because we're not done painting it yet. So get over there, try to find this one. I don't know if it's sold or not. Excuse me, ladies. Hi. I don't know if it's sold or not because I'm using all three of my platforms right now. But yeah, go check it out, right? If it is in the Etsy store, maybe the mods can tell me. And is your friend one of the people watching, Bailey, that's Roblox something or other? What? Is that one of your, like, there's somebody watching name with the screen name like Roblox with like a you know, when the emojis like got the hot face, like the hot sweaty red face. Yeah. Not the angry mad one, but the hot sweaty one.
I don't know.
No, it seems like somebody I thought you would know. So very cool. Taking this guy, working on our dark separator, sliding it up, moving it back, going over here. So did you hear your dad was on the news today, Bailey? What do you think about that?
That's cool.
It is cool, right? Mm-hmm. I keep thinking I'm gonna wake up from this dream at some point. Oh yeah, I like that. Now, you know what's cool? You can always come in and change it up, right? Come in, say we wanted this guy out a little bit longer in different places, so it's not all the same. And then we're gonna put a little thing back in here, show you a cool little bit, cool little trick. All right, I was doing it last night. Somebody asked on Facebook or somewhere, they said, can you teach us to do something kind of like this? And where you have your little line, right? Let's take our little line over here. Our little line of like foamy mist or whatever it is, a little mess out there, right? And then all we're gonna do is take it and start to shape it back. Same we did from here. And on this guy, grab it at the edge, start to pull him back, right, towards our wave. And you start to fill it up, and it starts to look like a little bit of foamy something or other, way back off in the distance, right? So the more you pull, the more you're adding, the more pressure that we're pushing, the more paint's dropping off. And it's starting to slide its way back towards our next little bit of wave coming in, right? It all depends on the angle and how far you take it back. I'll adjust this guy a little bit too. Bring him up here, take this guy over there. Whatever you want to do, slide it back to your little bit of wave. And just like so, you get these very cool little things. A little bit over here too. And then anything you don't like, you can literally get rid of. That's the best part about it, right? These ones over here, right? You don't like them. Really come back, make the sand look wet again. Pull it away, swipe it back towards. Take our whole bit of darkness. We can shape our whole bit of water back, pushing it any which way that you guys want to push it. Totes serious, B. That guy, slide him back. Pull it out over here. And then we're going to add our little bit of our misty, our crashing water and stuff like that. It's going to be awesome. I know what's with this guy. I actually don't even like the way that looks. It's pulling down. And just by pulling it down this way, it's going to leave it a little bit brighter in that spot than it was before. So it'll look even wetter. And then again, we're going to slide it back towards the dark separator. You can change the shape of your wave however you want. Bing, bang, boom. Leaving it nice and dark down here towards the end now. Don't have to go too crazy. Now, let's get our palette knives out because we only need them for one part of the whole painting. And then we'll be done. So let's get our crimson, black, and blue right out onto the knife. And we're just going to mix it up into this really, really dark pile of paint. It's going to look like black by the time we get done. It's not. It's a very deep, dark purple, but it's going to look very, very, very dark. So, mixing that up, we're going to go to our fan brush. We're going to get all the darkness all thick onto there. Loading it up like this, right? Just back and forth, getting it all just super thick, right? Onto there like that. Now, we have to imagine we're attached to our dark separator, so as we come up, we're going to start to tremble as we go in, and the more we go, the more we're going to smash. We're going to push up there like that. And we get to decide what the angle is, right? Don't have to come down all the way to the end. You don't have to save every bit. You don't have to show every little single bit of darkness in there. All right, come out here like that. Just smash it up good. That's all you got to do is drop a bit of dark out here that we can then mix up into a bit of cloud with the same brush that we haven't washed since, I don't know, 15 minutes ago. So we're going to take it like this, and we're going to start to mix. Actually, we're going to add our bit of white first. What are you guys talking about over there?
How short her boyfriend is.
Oh, don't say that during my show. That's mean. He watches sometimes. Okay, so we're going to come back with the liquid white and the titanium white onto the brush. And then, yeah, go ahead and play something, Eric. Play a little something. I gotta take a quick drink, but seriously though, like if I can hear you guys, then I think that the cameras can hear you guys, right? So, chit chat and stuff, but you know, keep quiet. That's a good song right there. Is that Under the Bridge by the Chili Peppers?
Yes, it is.
That's a good song, dude. What kind of guitar do you play? Like the brand?
Ernie Ball.
Oh, nice. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend. I love that song. City of angel, lonely as I am, together we cry. Is that, yeah, that one? Wait for that. That's a good one, dude. Dude, I could never play like that. It's freaking hot in here, you guys. It is hot like fire. He's good, B. You should take lessons from Eric, dude. We got so many guitars in this house, I don't know how to play them. Okay, we're gonna come back here. Now that I'm all toweled off from all the sweat, there's extra people and the fan's off, and it's Las Vegas, it's hot. And we just started monsoon season, so it's super humid right now. So we're gonna take our white paint that's on the brush, and we're gonna come up here and we're just gonna start to tremble again. I always like to look at how many people are watching. We got like 500 watching on TikTok. So we'll start to tremble like this, and once you start to touch, you gotta move, right? And the more that you go up along the edge, the harder that you're pushing, depositing more paint. Over here, we're going lighter and lighter and lighter, right? As you come up here, you're pushing it harder and harder. And then once you're over the tip top of the wave, over the back, then you can start to ride this guy down just like a little bit of a water slide at the park, right? Ride it down, and then down here, this is where you wiped out. You're like, and you had to tumble. It was crazy. It was not cool. skinned your knee, right? Just get it everywhere. But in between all of these little things, all this bit of light color that we just smushed up there, right? What do we leave? What's in between all these little bits? Little bits of all this bit of stuff, right? What's there? Anybody know? I'll give you a little pin. Who's there? Who's here? Darkness, right? What do we call it? Dark separator. Dude, can you play that song by Sade, like Smooth Operator? Learn that song, and then I'll come up with some lyrics, and we'll do Dark Separator. You can play it. I'll sing. Well, you can sing it too.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's gonna be fire. Gonna be fire. So we have to leave that little dark separator in between every piece of light. Wow, my ear is ringing so bad right now. I get tinnitus like so loud. You guys stop talking about me. Somebody's talking about me really bad right now. Super tinnitus in that ear right there. That was crazy. Okay. Now we're leaving our little dark separators because as soon as we start to touch it with our brush, it's going to move and it's going to grow. So we're going to come back in here. We're going to start to make a little cloud just like we did over here. But do you guys think with the liquidy wetness of this paint, right? If I tipped it any further, it would literally tip out of the jar and drip all over the floor. So do you think with the liquidy, watery wetness of that paint, do you think we should push harder or do you think we should push softer? Right? Less pressure, more pressure. More, less. More, less. What are you going to type in the comments? More or less pressure if we're using a paint that's much, much, much wetter and much more liable to spread further because of its wetness, right? Would we touch it with more tenacity and more pressure, or would we use less pressure? You guys comment now. More or less? More or less. Tell me what's on your mind. All right. You're here with Paint with Josh here on the midnight shift. More or less pressure. Let's see what people are saying. What are we saying? What are we saying? What are we saying, everybody? So we got less. Muffin says, such a good teacher. I appreciate you. Thank you. Midnight says less. Kylie says less. Kimberly says less. Hope says soft or less. Sunshine says less. Brooke Major says less. Betty Fleming less. Case Stainbeck says less over here on Facebook. Do we have any comments over on YouTube? Oh, they're so far away I can't even see. You put a small practice painting. Oh, no, definitely not. So that question over on YouTube says, do I put a practice painting or a reference photo or whatever off to the side that I'm looking at back and forth? So if you've never seen one of my shows before, I show it sometimes where I have my TV over here, right? Got a big TV that with a camera behind it showing me all of your cameras and what you guys can see. And that way I can look at my TV instead of looking right here. If I look right here at the canvas, it's as literally as bright as turning around and looking at the lights because it's wet and it bounces off like a mirror. And so even though it's clear to you guys, because I keep the cameras in a good spot, I can barely see. Like if I went like this, I don't know if I don't even know where the cloud ends. Does it end up here? Maybe. Only because I did it, right? You can barely see anything. So if you guys, if I were to put the camera's head on with the canvas itself, this becomes this giant thing where you can't even see it. So yeah, it's all part of the process. So we're gonna take our brush, we're gonna go much less pressure, just like everyone was saying, because this paint is gonna wanna grow so far, just with the smallest little touch, right? And we do this 2 times, and then we throw paint at it. So don't worry about what it looks like after round 1. You come up here, you gotta go such a small little bit, just barely, right? And that means the water's already hit over here. This side's crashing, this side's already hit, we're coming in, right? Gotta have that depth, adds all that difference. Very cool. Very, very cool. Now, all we gotta do is do it one more time and then we're gonna be done, guys. So, we're gonna come in with the same brush. We're gonna go back into that liquid white, right? That very liquidy, runny paint. Then we're gonna come over here into the titanium white because you have to mix them up together. You can't just do one or the other. Gotta have them both, right? I get the question all the time, can I just paint without getting the liquid clear or the liquid white? And I'm like, you can, but you're gonna hate it. It's not gonna be fun at all. Get the right stuff. We're gonna come in here for round 2, and we're gonna come up, we're just gonna start to slap at it, any place that we've already touched, right? But these times we're leaving the dark separators much bigger in between. There's less paint up here, right? So now we've got this lighter gray color behind our pure white has now become our dark, and this light color on top has become our brightness, right? Our light. So, trying to leave a little bit more dark area, less light areas, and again, the paint's gonna grow like crazy. So round 2, should we do more pressure or less pressure? You guys tell me in the comments right now. Right? We said less pressure than the clouds for the first time. But now, do we do less pressure or do we do the same pressure? Do we do more pressure than we did the first time here? What would you think? What song are you going to play next, Eric?
I'm thinking about it.
Right on. Kimberly says less. Heather says less. Frank Rodriguez says even less. Hope says more. Midnight Ocean, or Midnight Queen says less. Jojo Beans says less. Nirvana says less. Let's see. Jonas less. Karen, is that Blankton? Blanton? Danielle Schaefer over here on Facebook says less. Sheila Ann Brown says less, right? You guys are right. Because we don't want it to blend in. If we use the same amount of pressure, it's going to blend in with and turn exactly that same color that's underneath it. So let's go less pressure. Now we can see there's little bright areas over the top of the little dark areas. Nothing is the same. It doesn't have to be the same. You're going to get this crazy bit of spray and action. And watch this. You can get the thing to fly out just with the smallest amount of pressure, reaching out, trying to cover the edge. And that way you've got a little bit darker spray, a little bit brighter spray, just adding depth and distance very, very lightly. So lightly, guys. Man, don't have too much paint either because it's going to try to grow down and cover your dark separator, right? Nobody wants that. Now, here comes the fun part about doing the whole painting session is we get to take it and just throw paint right at it. So we're going to get a little of our liquid white. We're going to come up here, drop it out on the side of the palette. And then all we're going to do is drag our brush across it, in effect bringing the bristles backwards, and then they fling forward, and that shoots the paint out onto the canvas. So we get a small amount of our titanium white and our liquid white pile. I can't get this bristle off my brush. There we go. Now it won't come off my glove. There we go. So, a little bit in there, a little bit over there. Right now we're going to basically scrape this up onto the edge right here. We're going to come in and we're just going to start to throw it off. Just look at it smashing all over, right? How many little spray bits do you want to have? Totally up to you. Maybe get a couple out there in the sky, way up on top of our moon, way out in the distance out there, right? So cool. A couple bright ones snuck in down there underneath the clouds somehow. And this guy, make him disappear. Very neat. Very neat. All up to you guys. Whatever you want to do, you can do. I say it all the time. Don't I say it all the time? I think I say it all the time. Now, we decide how many little bits of spray you want to have, right? And that's why we don't care what it looks like on the first run or the second run, because all these things add another layer of depth on top of all that crashed up, churned up water, right? Just like that, guys. That's, oh. And then I dropped the brush, too. I was trying to catch it on the handle. I caught it up.
Party
It's not a good day. Not a good day. Okay. So you guys start coming up with a name for this painting. I don't know if it's sold or not. I'm going to have to end the Facebook stream and the YouTube stream, and then we'll hang out on TikTok for a little bit. So if you don't follow me on TikTok and you want to hear more of Eric playing his guitar, Eric's going to play us out as we're going. And then I'll give you like a signal, Eric, and then I'll do the exit for the show. And then when we pick it back up on TikTok, you can keep playing. So go ahead, Eric. Dazzle us with something as I wash off all these brushes. You guys start coming up with a name for the painting. Start typing it into the comments section. Sounds like Prince for a minute. There we go. Excellent. Need a drum kit in here, hubby. So we need a drum kit in here so you can be playing the drums. Be cool. Perfect. So you stop like that? Okay, guys. Let's see. What do we got for names for this painting? And then we're going to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube. So if you're watching over there, make sure you come watch us over on TikTok. And we're going to have a load of a good time. So, what we got? Midnight Waves, Aurora Splash, Turbulent Dreams, Moon on the Horizon. I dig that. It's kind of cool, kind of cool. Anybody else? Anybody got anything to say over on YouTube? What are we looking at? It'd be nice to see the painting straight on for a minute. Literally, it would be so glareful you wouldn't be able to see. That's why we literally do it and set it the way that we set it for a reason. Do you need the charger on? No. Okay. And there we go. Midnight midnight monsoons. I like that because it just started monsoon season today in Las Vegas. Who said that? I gotta pin that comment. Who said that, Eric? That's gonna be the winner. What do you think?
Like,
Midnight monsoons. Let's pin that. There it is right there. Dana Edelston. So everybody go follow Dana Edelston as we come back. And I'm going to finish with the birds. We'll sign it. And then we'll say goodbye to TikTok. Say goodbye to YouTube and Facebook. So let me get on that real quick. So everybody watching over on YouTube and Facebook, this is your last chance for the evening to be notified that we're giving away a hat, right? We're doing a hat giveaway. So if you want to win a free Paint with Josh hat, make sure you go over to the Facebook page. It's the very first pinned post at the very top of the page. Make sure you share that. Share it to your feed. Share it to an art group. Share it somewhere. Put it out there, right? Screenshot it. Once you've shared it, go back to my post, drop your screenshot in the comments as proof that you shared it, right? Very simple. It's like 3 little steps. Hit share, screenshot that you shared it, go back, post it in the comments. And that way, you'll be entered to win a free hat, no purchase necessary, for next Friday. So come back next Friday for next Friday Night Freestyle, and we're going to be giving away a free Paint with Josh hat to, good, I didn't put any more paint on it, to whoever wants, to whoever wins, right? So all you got to do to enter, I already told you a million times what you got to do. It doesn't have to be the yellow one. We have black and purple, black and red, black and gray, white, black, red, green. There's one other cool color combo too. I forget. Like black and white or white and black, whatever it is. Really neat. But get yours if you want one. You got to get entered. And in order to enter, you have to go to facebook.com/paintwithjosh. Share my pinned post. It was like something on my nose. Share my pinned post. It was a hair. Look at that. It wasn't a nose hair. It was like a dog hair. But share my pinned post that's got all the merchandise. It announces the giveaway and all that stuff. It tells you what to do in the thing. Share it, screenshot it, go back, post it in the comments. So I want to say goodbye to everybody. What did I do with that brush that I just had? Didn't I just load a brush? Oh, here we go. That's not the brush.
Is it on the ground?
That's not the brush. What did I do with the brush? Dude, I am losing my mind. I think I've lost my mind. I think that's what's going on. Or I don't remember putting the brush back for some reason. Let's go over here. We're going to sign this guy. So let's say goodbye to YouTube. Let's say goodbye to Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until I see you guys again on the next one, make sure you guys take care. Have the rest of a good day. And bow. Now I got to go turn off the cameras. Okay, hit us with some music, Eric. Everybody go over to TikTok if you want to finish listening to what Eric is doing over here.